in, guys. Happy Friday. We got a massive slate today. We got 26 games going on between the MLB and the NBA. It's been a pretty good week. We're actually coming off the first losing night of the week. We split yesterday, 2 units on the Kings. We catch the Guardians, plus 155. Big dog, lose out on about 0.6 units. And other than that, I mean, it's been red hot. 8 of the last 10 days in the green. Each of the prior 3 of this week were in the green as well. So hopefully we can keep that rolling. A lot of games to get to, John. We got a lot of bets already out, so make sure you guys stay tuned. As always, like, comment, subscribe below. John, how we doing today?
Good. So 3 bets out already. And if you stay with us through the whole card, you'll get them. And that's why you guys, I don't know why we don't have tens of thousands of views every Monday and Friday on our podcast, because we give you all our bets. If we would get some kind of action, we'd be happy to go live every single, go do the podcast every day. We'll also be live on Instagram at noon Eastern today. So you guys, especially my members that are trying to get me questions at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the chat, wrong time of the year for that, guys. 26 NBA and MLB games today. Just can't. The morning is our busiest time. That being said, like I said, got 3 games out already. Just to answer a couple of guys' questions. One of the guys in the chat, we had A's plus 225. He's like, wait, where do you get 225? Well, you get it when I send it out. If you still having your coffee and decided, well, I'll stroll over to land, you're going to miss it. It was 225 all over, including Bet Online. I'm not going to say all over. Again, we'll save this again, guys. Baseball, you get DraftKings, MGM, FanDuel. Their line on this game was 250, take back 210. So you're not going to get 225. Offshore sports books, not saying go bet offshore sports books, but if you were, that's who had those numbers, and that's where you're going to find it. Also, my man Joshua, who love Joshua. He does give up on the games quite early when when the other team takes a lead, but I think he gets the most comments in there, him, T. Palmieri. But Joshua asking me if Mavs minus 5.5 was still worth 2.5 units, 2 units. Joshua, there was 5 at every single book in America and still is. I'm not in America, every single book around the world. Guys, again, questions, bring them to me here on the podcast. Bring them on Instagram, or you're going to have to just wait till we get to it with that busy. That being said, Ben told you, I don't know if you guys know about the free bets we've been giving out once in a while on some other shows. But we had 2 bets yesterday. The one bet we gave out was Sacramento plus 3.5, blow a 21 point lead in that game. What's brutal is that game, you guys know, it's all about info. Our info on the game was Josh Hart was really hurting. We had him a little bit more doubtful and questionable to play. His game against Miami Heat, he played 46 minutes, but the wrist was bothering him. Just 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting. Josh Hart, if we thought he was going to play, probably a no bet in that game. Josh Hart, not only does he play, he goes 31, 9, and 8 yesterday. I think it was 14 and 19 shooting. And this is how you blow stupid games like this. But again, that was the free bet. If we gave out the free bet, Cleveland Indians plus 155, we look like geniuses. So, as Ben said, it's been a good week all the way around. Lose a couple of shekels yesterday, nothing to speak of. Just a tough way to lose a Sacramento game, taking points. Even went into the 4th quarter tied, but they just let that slip away. Anyway, big card right now, Ben. I think we should get right to it. We're going to go real quick, guys. We'll do baseball first. There's a lot of day action today, and then we'll hit you with the full NBA card.
Yep, guys, going to be handing off games between John and I. We'll take this top game here. Dodgers at Cubbies. Dodgers first week in LA went good. 6-1 on the homestand. Ohtani gets the homer in the last game. Cubbies, they're playing pretty good ball as well, taking care of business against the Rockies. They've now won 4 in a row, scoring almost 9 runs a game. Pretty interesting pitching matchup. Bobby Miller. I know there's some guys, high analytic guys, really, really high on Bobby Miller. One of these another young Dodger pitching studs. And he backed it up in the first game here of this season after a good rookie year last year, 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals. Then you have Hendricks going for the Cubs. when I think of just your average, solid, typical MLB pitcher, Kyle Hendricks comes to mind. He was roughed up in that game at Texas. He's always been solid against the Dodgers. 3 quality starts in his 6 against him in his career. We got a bet on the Cubbies here, plus 160. You're taking a home dog here in Wrigley against obviously the biggest brand in baseball right now with Ohtani and everything else. Day games in Wrigley are different. Big price here for the Dodgers now going on the road. We'll see how they look here outside of LA.
Look, this is going to be the story all year, guys. Dodgers, we talk about an overlay. What does an overlay mean? It means they're tacking on to the Dodgers because they know everybody wants to bet the Dodgers. And Dodgers, after a split in Korea, came back home, did what they had to do, swept San Francisco, beat up on St. Louis. This lineup is scary. Miller, love this kid. Big pitching advantage here. Hendricks, look, he had been the Cub ace in the past.
Yep.
He's solid. I guess that's the word we could use for him. It's just the number here. The Cubby team, yes, they did this on the Rockies pitches, which is a lot different than the Dodgers pitching. But when you're banging out close to 9 runs a game, you're worth what we call a live dog, especially at home. Plus 160. Cubbies are another team that is supposed to be challenging them, Cardinals, Cincy. It's going to be one of those 3 teams to win that division. So over another division winner, you got taking 160 at home. So we're on Hendricks and the club. Start the day off early with the Cubbies.
We got Padres at Giants, San Diego here coming off a tough little homestand. They dropped 2 of 3 against St. Louis. This Giants team, they lost 5-4 against the Dodgers the other night. A couple of 1-run tight games they had. They've now lost 4 in a row. Same pitching matchup we got last week. They just played in San Diego in the opener, Cease versus Hicks. Cease, he was roughed up for 3 runs and 4 2/3. Hicks, he was solid. He had a really good spring. They're transitioning from this back-end reliever to now a starter. He's one of these guys, high velo in the triple digits. You worry when they go reliever to starter, how much does that carry over? Lights out spring, 5 shutout innings versus the Padres in the first start of the season. To me, this game is San Francisco or nobody. Hicks has looked terrific going back to the spring. And as far as, put him in AT&T Park there, Oracle Park now, in San Francisco. Nice little pitcher's ballpark. Giants or nobody.
Mets at Reds. Mets are in a tough spot. First of all, Mets can't hit. So they're going to go from playing a doubleheader, a tough weekend, a lot of rain delays, rainouts. They get a doubleheader yesterday. They'll be playing their third game, obviously, in 2 days, and they got to travel over to Cincy. Cincy was rested yesterday. Cincy, those bats are hitting. Mets bats aren't. Green and Quintana, not much of a difference pitching there. Both solid pitches in the middle of Quintana. I guess right now one of their better starters, the Mets. You got to remember no Sanger in there to start the season. So just with that being said, since he's got to have the edge in this game, because of the situation with the Mets with the doubleheader not hitting, I want no part of the Mets in this one.
We have Phillies at Nationals, AL East battle here. A couple of your more longer tenured pitchers with these teams. Nola been with Philly forever. Corbin been with the Nats now for a good bit. Both rough starts. Nola roughed up for 7 runs, and against the Braves, you had Corbin. He was roughed up for 4 runs at Cincy. They actually won that game. We were on that game with the Nationals, one of our winners. As far as the matchup history, Phillies, they only won 7 of 13 meetings last year. They split 6 in Washington. And you guys hear us talk about all the time. Nats just a different team, home and away. Would be the slightest of leans here to the Washington Nationals in this game. Wasn't super impressed with Nola in his first start. Last year, he started off really slow, got better as the season progressed, and then boom, turned it on come playoff mode. So I'm interested to see if Nola has that kind of slow start again this year. Nats or nobody, but staying away from the dog in this one.
Yeah, our next game is, what do we got? He'll give me a sec, guys. Sorry about that.
We got D-backs at Atlanta next.
D-backs at Atlanta. Look, this is the National League champions. And Strider is up as high as a 285 favorite. Granted, huge pitching mismatch with Strider against Henry. But it's got to be Arizona or nobody for a sprinkle at this price. Braves pounding the ball, but only went 3-2 to start that road trip. Getting beat by maybe the worst team in baseball, the White Sox. I guess the Rockies have something to say about that. But yeah, can only want to take the short at this tremendous price. Haven't done so yet. but it's Arizona or nobody.
We got Blue Jays at Yankees. Nice AL East battle. Kikuchi versus Stroman. Stroman, the former Blue Jay. He was good in his Yankees debut. 3 unearned runs in 6 innings for a quality start. Kikuchi roughed up. He had 3 runs off 6 hits, 3 walks against Tampa Bay. Matchup history here is weird. They kind of own each other in each other's buildings. Toronto, 7-3 the last 10 in New York, 4-6 last season. Kikuchi, good numbers against the Yankees last year, both in New York. Just 1 run in 11 innings. Stroman, I mean, this Yankees team, and I have not thought the Yankees have had a legitimate chance to win a World Series in maybe 15, 16 years since that infield of A-Rod, Teixeira, Jeter, Cano days. They have a chance. The question is starting pitching. Rodon, what can he be? Cole's health, and then obviously Stroman. Stroman in Yankee Stadium in his career at a +6 ERA. Lean on this game's Toronto. Don't love it, but lean to the Jays in this one. Very interested to see what the Yanks get out of Stroman, especially in New York, because that's going to be the difference for them this season.
We got Oakland at Detroit, a 1:10 start. And as I said, Detroit and Mets played a doubleheader yesterday. It started at noon. They were hampered by rain delays through the first in the earlier part of that series. So you're going to have Detroit playing what basically turns out to be their 3rd game in 24 hours and include travel in that. If it wasn't for that, I really wouldn't want to touch this. But look, Skubal is not only was he lights out in his first game, in his career against Oakland, what do I got him at? 4 starts, 3-0 with a 0.000 ERA, 30 Ks, 6 walks. He's lights out. So the pitching disparity is this: Sears, Skubal. You've got Oakland, the worst team in baseball, along with the White Sox and Rockies. But I might give it to the A's right now. Just this is a franchise in disarray. Now I guess they're moving up to Sacramento. Ben's going to be for the next couple of years till they move to Vegas.
Moving down to Sacramento, they sent down Diaz, who led the team in stolen bases last year. Apparently, and this is a little sidetrack here, so there's a website of like fans that they have merch that's all about, selling the team. Diaz and a few of the other players were wearing some of the merch from that website. Diaz, who's their best player, gets sent down to AAA. The other 2, one gets released, one gets traded. So the owner is literally like, fuck this team, fuck the players, I don't care. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And just saying that, I've got the movie Major League in my mind. If you remember, it's the rebel against the owner, and let's fucking win one just to fuck this owner. Anyway, I'm betting against the spot here for Detroit. Just this is a huge number. And all this being said, the A's have what is their record here? 18-2. The last 20 games at Detroit. I know it's not the same A's team. When we talk ownership, we're talking about this. So everything goes right. Detroit's is the better team. A's suck. Detroit pitcher, tremendous. But Detroit can't hit. They can't hit a lick. I'm thinking I can get 3 fucking complete innings out of there. And 3 games in less than 24 hours with travel. We took a number of 225. And once again, for our new members, just know that when we bet games, some of them are going to move like instantaneously, right? As soon as we make that move. Some maybe not so much, but this game, and that's what happened here, we took plus 225. If you had another couple of sips of coffee, it was probably 215. If you sent me a note in chat to complain that you couldn't get 225, it was 210 by then. So, guys, act quick. Bet the games when we send them out. We're on to something here. So we took A's plus 225. It's worth a 1-unit bet. Not many times I want to be on the A's. Just this situation, like I said, very tough for a Detroit team that can't hit, playing 3 games in 24 hours.
And we have White Sox at Kansas City. Royals crushed them yesterday, 10-1. This KC pitching rotation, you guys know I'm high on this Royals team because of it. They're living up to it. Their starters have the #1 ERA of starters in the MLB. They have given up 7 runs in 7 games as starters. Your starters are averaging 1 run a game. You have a good chance to pull out some games. That's against 2 favorite division winners, by the way, Minnesota and Baltimore. So KC pitching staff legit. Singer going today, 7 shutout innings, 10K, 1 walk, and the 11-0 win against the Twins. Their last 2 home games, Kansas City's put up 21 runs. This is KC or nobody. Big line here. I'm not saying Lane the favorite, but plus 115 at -1.5 for a team whose starting pitcher allowing 1 run a game right now, and they put up 21 runs their last 2 at home, would be the run line on this game or nothing for me.
We got Houston at Texas, and I'm going to cede this one to Ben. I know he's super high on it. I am not as high because I just think the number is gone. But go ahead, Ben. Why don't you take Houston, Texas?
I'm with John. The number's too high on this game. I'm hoping there's some idiots out there betting Texas today to get this one back down a little bit, get Houston maybe closer to 120. Or if this is one of those instances where Astros go up the top of the first, they don't get any runs, Texas comes down, that line will go to a PK at the bottom of the first. Could be a live bet on Houston here. And the spot just screams Astros. They had a really rough homestand. They get the bats going at the back end of it. They're a way better road team. I mean, they were elite on the road last season, 51-30. And that includes against the Rangers in Texas. The ALCS guys, they lose in 7 games. The road team won all 7 games. Astros, they won all 3 at Texas. They went 13-1 their last 14 games at Texas. Bradford, probably the worst pitcher in this Texas rotation. Brown, he was solid against the Yankees, and he was great on the road last season. But he's better on the road last season than he was at home. Everything here to me says Astros with playoff revenge, the road success, the ownership in Texas, the pitching edge, the bats heated up. Everything says Astros, just a big price. So I want a better price here with Houston today.
So this is actually a good time to explain, especially to new followers. I totally agree with Ben with the spot. This is playoff revenge. Last year in that 7-game series, the road team won each of the 7 games. Houston wants this game. They get hot at the right time. It's about the number, though. So my number on this game is Houston -120. So we bet numbers. Yesterday, we did not want to buck Lopez for Minnesota. Yep. But when the number ran so far that we could take plus 155, now at plus 155, it's worth it. Same thing with the Dodgers today. When the price was the price opened 165, take back was 150. Wasn't interested at 150. At plus 160, when they moved it up this morning, now at plus 160, it becomes attractive. It becomes a bet. It's about the number. We're basing. If these games were played 162 times over the course of the season, how many of those games can the Cubs upset the Dodgers, or in this case, Houston beat Texas? If you're laying $1.50, always keep in mind, you're laying $1.50, you've got to win 60% of the games. If you're laying an average of $1.50, only 4 teams, Dodgers, Braves, Tampa Bay Rays, and Orioles won 60% or more of their games last year, while only 4 teams lost more than 60% of their games. So keep that 60-40 in your head. So we're betting a number. I might feel like, look, do I think that Arizona and Henry is going to beat the Braves in Strider? No. But if we get up to a number that we're taking 260 on the game, I think they're going to win enough of those games to make 260 a winner. So I hope that explains it. And if you didn't understand it and need a deeper, come on the chat on Instagram. We'll tap you guys and try to explain it. We're betting numbers, guys. We're betting numbers, not just the team. It would be Houston, but not at this price. I don't make the price that high. The next game, it's Boston at Angels. Boston off to a nice little start going on the road. And Crawford's been dynamite on the road, even last year. So this is a game where I actually have Boston a 110 favorite. Right now, we're looking pretty much like a pick'em game. But still too tight in this one. Angels, me and Ben both felt Angels tanked it at the end of the year.
Yep.
Once they didn't trade Ohtani at the trade deadline, then he comes down with the injury. That team is a disaster. Half their team was on the injured list at the end. They're a better team than they finished last year. We saw that they with a nice little win against the Orioles. I think it was sweeping the Marlins when they're in a world of hurt, this team, and I thought they would be. But getting back to this game, I think Red Sox supposed to be the favorite in this game, but there's just not enough room here. And again, as I said, we're betting numbers.
Speaking of bad numbers, we got Rays at Colorado, and Colorado now back at home for the home opener. And you guys know we like the home dog with the Rockies. Going to be looking at it today, see how high this price goes. It's going to be Little versus Gomber. Little, good first start, 6 shutout innings versus the Jays. But, I mean, damn, after watching this Jays team for the last week, I don't find it that impressive anymore. I mean, they got no hit by a guy in his 8th career start. They were hitting 106 in that series versus Houston. So what really was that there? Take it with a grain of salt. Gomber, he had a rough start going at Arizona. He was good against the Tampa last year, had a quality start. He was worse at home, but he had a good amount of his quality starts at home. The extremes were there. Obviously, it's Coors Field. End of the day, this Tampa Bay team just not the same Rays team from last year. They lost too much. They lost way too much in the offense, way too much pitching-wise. Big price here for the Rays on the road, who were a worse road team last year. Colorado always better at home. And Gomber, just by, what's left, I mean, he's the Rockies ace for all considered.
Default.
So, yeah, default. He's the Rockies ace. So if you're not going to back the Rockies ace at a plus 150 dog at home versus a bad road team, when are you? Rockies are nobody in this one.
Rockies are nobody. We'll wait to see how high this game goes. There is no team in baseball that has a bigger split home and away advantage than the Rockies. That doesn't mean they're the best team. It means that they're so bad on the road that their value at home. They've always had value at home. They haven't had last year was their first losing season in a full season since, what has it been, 2015?
Yep, 2015.
So they're going to win enough games at home as $1.50 and bigger favorites to make them have value. They'll have value today. So we'll be on the Rockies or nobody. Again, we'll see how high this one goes. Next game, what do we get here? We get Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Couple of young pitchers going at it, like both these kids.
Yep.
Rodriguez had great stuff. He was getting knocked around early in the year last year. They sent him down in the minor leagues, came back for the home stretch, pitched great ball, smacked in his first day in the ALDS there by Texas, but Texas was just on a mission last year. Jones, nice little first start for him. I've got the Orioles favored in this one, but I'm only around $1.25. This game's sitting around $1.30 right now. Just not enough for a play. Like what the Pirates did, great start. Take it with a grain of salt. The Nationals and the Marlins, two of the weakest teams in the NL, so they'll come home and now get a dose of reality, getting one of the better teams in the Orioles. Orioles deserve to be the favorite. They played better on the road last year than they did at home, but this game's right where the number's supposed to be.
Yeah, quick note on you said that start there with Rodriguez at Texas. The Rangers championship ring's pretty sick. I don't know if you guys saw that. They go 11-0 on the road, and they have that on the inside of the ring, but the ROAD for road is the Rays logo for the R, the O's logo for the O, the Astros logo for the A, and the D-backs logo for the D. So that's a pretty cool way to flex on it with the ring. We got Mariners Brewers wrapping up a pretty big baseball card here today. Good pitching matchup again. Gilbert versus Peralta. Gilbert 1 run in 7 innings versus the Red Sox his last time out. He was a bit better on the road last year. Peralta was terrific against us in the Mets in that opener there. 1 run off 1 hit, Starling Marte in 6 innings, 8 Ks, 1 walks, and he was even better at home last year. So pretty good pitching matchup. Pick your poison in that one. Seattle, the bats just not going. They dropped 3 of their last 4, scoring 2 runs per game, hitting $197. No interest in these Seattle bats, though. I would say Peralta at home or nobody there.
I would, but I think it's a little bit of an overlay also. Gilbert looking real good. Look, Peralta, the ace now with Bonds and Woodruff going. He's their ace. Milwaukee, another team. Neither of these teams hitting. Could be a little spot, not a total better. This could be a little spot that you're looking at a 3-2 game in this one, like both these pitches, and they both pitched well in their first outing. NBA bet, and this is another full card, guys. We do got an NBA bet. I've talked about it. But let's get right from the start here. We got Portland at Washington. Some of these games, there just ain't much to talk about. It's April. Portland and Washington, you got a budget. Look, basically, we've got our 20 play-in or playoff teams. With the Warriors beating the Rockets last night, they've now got a 4-game lead over the Rockets. Rockets aren't catching them. There are only 6 games left. Golden State has the advantage in the series. So you've got our 10 top teams that are everybody else in the East is already eliminated. Top 10 are in. Top 10 in the West. will be in. So you get a bunch of eliminated teams. So you get what, a team like Portland. Portland's been sitting everybody in the bench. They're absolutely decimated. Grant's been, the only guy that's actually playing for them that's any kind of player is Ayton, and he's getting his 20 and 10 every game. Wizards, they're going to sit Kuzma today. The point guard Jones has been out forever. They're not bringing him back. So you get two decimated teams going up against each other. Little side note, Portland has won and covered their last 6 trips to Washington. And earlier this year, Wizards went to Portland, beat them 118-117. If I had to make a bet, it would be Portland and nobody.
We got Magic at Charlotte, big number in this game for a damn good reason. Orlando playing good ball, 1-3 in a row. They've been solid on the road, 9-4 straight up and against the spread last 13 road games. This Hornets team, they sat some guys, loose the Blazers at home the other night. Looks like they're getting Bridges and Mitchell back. You got Richard still questionable. Magic have owned this matchup. They've won the last 5 meetings. They're 7-2 the last 9 in Charlotte. Don't want any part of this Hornets team right now. This would be Magic or nobody. Big number, not landed on the road, but Magic or nobody in this one.
Just give me a second, Ben. I'll be right back with you, and here I am. We're going to go to which game do we get next?
Thunder at Indy.
Thunder, Indy, more injuries. Injuries, look, this time of year, you got to make sure you know what you're doing, who's playing. So Thunder now, they're going to be missing SGA and Jalen Williams again. That's a top 2 leading scorers. They're going to have their hands full going to Indy, an Indy team that we bet against just the other night in Brooklyn, beat them outright as a 7.5-point dog. Indy will come home. They'll look to get the Thunder again. They just beat them in OKC a couple of weeks ago, beat them by double digits there. Going to be a tough spot, like I said, 4th and 6 for OKC, and without their top 2 scorers at this number, Indy and nobody, but they'll wait to see if Miles Turner will play. He missed the last game against the Nets.
We got Kings at Boston. Kings broke our hearts last night, blow the 21-point lead. We'll see if they have anything left in the tank to get going here against the best team in basketball, Boston. They clinched up the 1 seed overall with their big win over the shorthanded Thunder, who they're resting tonight. How are they going to go about these next few games to end the season? How aggressive are they going to rest guys? That's what's to watch with the Boston Celtics. Regular season means nothing to them at this point. Wait to see the lineups for this game. Spot, I mean, it's hard to not say Sacramento. They blew a tough game last night. They had a chance to redeem themselves. They have absolutely been demolished by this Celtics team. Obviously, they want this game more. Just don't know if it matters. Even if Boston rests a few guys, I feel we're going to see Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser light up the Sac team, who is the worst team allowing 3-point shooting in the NBA. That's a bad matchup for them. No 3-point defense. There's a reason Boston beats them by 30 on average.
Yeah, it's a tough one to read. Like as we said going into yesterday's game, Sacramento best against the spread road record over the last 2 years. So this is no fluke. And again, for you guys that are Massa Edge members, if you go into the ratings, this is why teams are rated the same or better on the road because the stats say they are. Next game, looking at Raptors at Bucks. Raptors gave up a month ago. They came out right after the All-Star break, put a whooping on the Nets, won a couple of games, and then you had the death of R.J. Barrett's brother. He missed some time. Podol went out. Bonds went out. Quickly had some personal problems. This team has absolutely given up. Now, they should have Barnes and Quickly back tonight. Trent and Brown, they'll be question marks. But more so for Milwaukee, Lillard's missed the last few games. Milwaukee ain't going nowhere without him. Giannis or not, they just lost back-to-back games as 14-point favorites, and they'll be a 15-point favorite again in this one. Giannis questionable, Lillard questionable, Beverly also set out, which not big, but if Lillard's out, Beverly that much bigger. Again, all about the injuries at this time of year. Milwaukee still needs wins. Boston's locked up the 1 seed in the East, but if they want to stay in the 2 seed ahead of the Cavs, they need a couple of more wins to secure that. You want to be that 2 seed to get home court, not only the first round, but in the second round.
Got Spurs at Pelicans. Spurs coming off a nice game against Denver. Hard fought. Wemby, big performance. Didn't shoot the best, but man, filled up the stat sheet. San Antonio playing good ball. 5 straight covers, 7-2 against the spread their last 9 road games. Pelicans coming off a home loss to the Magic. They've now lost 3 in a row on the homestand. They're 4-7 their last 11 home games. They have owned this matchup. They have Zion questionable. He left last game. Ingram, he's been out. I mean, this could be a stunner here for San Antonio if no Zion in this game. Pelicans, how many blows can they take injury-wise? I don't want to bet against this Spurs team with this big of a number right now. Even with the Pelicans ownership, Spurs playing some of their best ball of the season, Wemby getting better with each and every game. San Antonio are nobody despite the ownership.
Yeah, it would be tough to go in. That's 8 in a row, 7-1 against the spread.
Nope.
All 3 this year. Wouldn't want to buck that. But we got to see about Zion. Remember, Pelicans already missing Brandon Ingram. You take Zion out of there, that's a tough go for them in that one. I got the pleasure of talking about the Pistons. What is there to talk about? Grizzlies they have used 31 players this year have played for them. That's the most in NBA history. This team is decimated. They've been that way all year. Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane in and out of the lineup. Just getting Brandon Clark back, but he'll sit out tonight. Jackson Jr. out tonight. Bane out. Everybody's out for Grizzlies. Pistons, what a move the Pistons pull, man. The other night, they released Cunningham's in the lineup. As soon as the game starts, he's a scratch. At least they're letting us know ahead of time he's out tonight. So nobody playing for either team. You might as well go watch a pickup game in the schoolyard if you're going to watch this game. I've got no way to handicap this game, Ben. Take the next one.
Yeah, if anyone lives in the Memphis area, can probably get courtside teaks for $1 and a nickel there. We'll see what goes on with that one. Heat at Houston. Both teams on a back-to-back. Both teams off some tough losses. Heat, tough loss. They had a lead late in that game. I think they're up 6 with 3 to go. They blow it to Philly in their own home floor. Then they got to travel. Houston, no travel. They were at home, but they got absolutely cooked by Golden State. They let them shoot 60%. And that's just a bit of an emotional dagger. That was, as far as them catching up on the season, they had that big 11-game win streak. There was a chance for them to get the play in. That was the big win they needed to make it realistic. Didn't happen. So it's got to be just a season letdown, I imagine, for the Rockets. Meanwhile, Heat still trying to climb up in the standings. They have won the last 7 meetings, 5-1-1 against the spread. I would just look for an emotional letdown from Houston and a Heat team coming off a hard-fought loss. It's going to be tough on a back-to-back, but both teams would be Heat or nobody here for me.
I'm going to bet the Heat if they play everybody. It's back-to-back, and 3rd and 4. You guys know about Jimmy Butler. You know the story with the Heat. Does anybody get the night off for Miami? If they don't, if Miami goes there with a full squad, Houston's done. They're cooked. I'm kicking myself in the ass. We did not bet the Warriors yesterday. That bet was sitting right there in front of us. Warriors are cooked. They want an 11-game winning streak to get themselves back in it. And then now they've dropped 3 straight. If you remember, we bet against them. Again, at Utah, they won by 1 point, but obviously we covered. They haven't won or covered a game since. Their season is over. They know it. Emotional 0 tonight. So we'll look to see if the Heat are playing everybody. This will be Heat or nobody. The next game we got, Ben, take the next game and I'll take the Warriors.
We got Knicks at Chicago. This Knicks team obviously coming off the come-from-behind win last night. Big minutes from Hart. He was questionable all day yesterday. Does he get the day off today? We'll see. This Bulls team, 3 days off. They had lost to the Hawks in Chicago on Monday. A little bit of a rough night there defensively. Chicago not playing the best of ball at home lately. 4-11 their last 15 home games. And Knicks got them earlier this year. They got them in Chicago. Spot to me here is all Bulls. The extended days off. You have Knicks on the back-to-back. They come from behind. They get the big win. So this spot is all Chicago. Would be Bulls or nobody here in this game. And we were hoping for that injury break with Hart last night. I got to think maybe somebody sits tonight. Does Thibodeau believe in any kind of rest before the playoffs?
Get out there. Get out and give me 40. That maniac.
Yeah, so who knows? He probably had him running laps once the plane landed this morning. Who knows?
Hart, again, questionable, and he plays 40-plus minutes, and McBride another 40-plus minutes. This is what Thibodeau does. We're into April, man. He just puts the pedal to the metal. You know he's going to do it going back to Chicago, too. So I wouldn't expect anybody to sit out. Look for them all to play. But, yeah, going to be a tough spot to Knicks. Come back off a 21-point beatdown, a 21-point deficit to come back with the win and now travel to a rested Chicago team. Look, both teams still need wins. Knicks in a fight for that 4 spot with Orlando. Tie going into the day. The top 4 spots, home court that first round. That's big. Chicago's still battling with Atlanta for that 9-10 home court for the play-in. Let me give you this next game because this is our one bet right now. Warriors at Dallas. After clinching, okay, not clinching, but basically sticking the last nail in the Rockets' coffin last night, this just looks like a letdown game for me. Yep. This is back-to-back, 4th city in 6 days for Golden State. Not much room to move up. So Golden State sits today in the 10 spot, a full game and a half behind the Lakers, 6 left. Just don't see where they're going to make a push. Is it worth to try to get a W here? Maybe to catch somebody to move up to the 9th? Or does head coach Kerr give an older Warrior team some time off? Would it be shocked some guys sit tonight after pretty much securing the play-in spot? With that said, Mavs are red hot. Their only loss, they've had 2 losses in the last 12 games. They lost at Oklahoma City without Luka, and then they lost Tuesday at Golden State. So you got a little bit of a revenge. You got a Dallas team still looking for wins. They could still possibly have a shot to catch the Clippers at the 4 seed, but they definitely want to stay in that top 6 to avoid the play-in. I look for a letdown game, if not a give-up game for the Warriors today. We laid Mavs -5, and yes, at Joshua 24, 5 was available. As a matter of fact, it's still available in every sports book in the entire world.
We got Minnesota at Phoenix, another one of these games that actually has some meaning. You obviously have Minnesota trying to climb up, keep that 1 seed. You have Phoenix, who's trying to avoid the play-in, currently in it. I believe they're now a game and a half ahead of the Lakers currently. This Suns team, tough schedule to close. They're going to have 2 games with Minnesota, 2 with the Clippers. I believe it's 1 with Sac, 1 with, forgetting on the other one there. They have a really tough schedule here to close out. This is a big game for them. Numbers creeping up their direction. They've owned this matchup. 8-1 the last 9 meetings, 5-0 the last 5 in Phoenix, straight up and against the spread. Talk about a game you need to show up for here. I mean, Minnesota coming off an easy cruise of a blowout against Toronto, so they'll be fresh as well. Suns coming off a tough game. This is Phoenix or nobody. It means more to them on their home floor with the ownership. Don't make the number quite this high. Wouldn't want to advocate betting against it. But as far as the spot and the ownership, can't bucket either. Phoenix or nobody here.
I can't say, Ben, that this means more to Phoenix. You got many only a half game ahead of Denver. So this is a big game for them also. Just don't know if they can get it done in Phoenix. They haven't been able to get it done recently. Phoenix blitzed the Cavs as a 6-point favorite just a couple of nights ago. Again, they look like they're starting to get it together. When Booker and KD going off with 40 apiece, it's going to be tough to beat this team. Nurkic is questionable tonight, and that's big for them, especially when you're going up against the bigs for Minnesota with Gobert and Naz Reid. Last game on the card, another garbage game. You got Utah Jazz. They've packed it in since the All-Star break. Basically, look, marketing season's over. He's been shut down. Clarkson's missed 10 of 11 games. He's not going to play. John Collins, he'll miss his 3rd game. And now Kessler missed. Said, ain't nobody playing for Utah. This is a decimated team. Nothing to talk about there. Clippers, how did they respond after a huge win last night without Kawhi over the Nuggets, who've been their nemesis? Tough spot for them to show up. Utah always plays them tough. They split 2 games earlier this year in Utah. Again, we're expecting Kawhi to sit out again tonight. 12.5 is the number. Just can't find a reason to bet Utah because they're awful. And I just can't. Look, if they couldn't cover the other night against the Cavs, when Cavs were sitting Mitchell and they were home, can't bet them tonight at the Clippers. But again, Clippers in a tough spot. Big win last night. Hey, back-to-back. Do the Clippers feel they can get away with maybe even resting Paul George or Harden, who had an absolutely horrible shooting night last night? So, again, we'll be waiting for injuries later on, Ben.
Big slate today, guys. 26 games. We got info coming up the entire time we're recording this. We got a lot to get to. We gave you a bunch of free bets. We appreciate all you guys who tune in. Please like, comment, subscribe below. And John, we got a live to get to. We got a lot of games to keep on keeping up with all this information coming out. You guys want any more bets or any injury updates and all this that comes up, sign up on the Appster website. John, I don't know if you have anything to add here.
No, let's do some work and let's make some money.